The general goal of a starter deck or theme deck for most games is to give the player a proper introduction and hook into the game. Although the first two Gundam MS4 theme decks do that, I don't think they give a proper hook or really reflect what the gameplay can be like. For this deck analyzation, both these theme decks are very straightforward, so I'm going to review them together. Starting with the Wing Gundam deck, we have the iconic Wing Gundam, a 4/4, its ability to destroy this card before attacking to destroy an opposing mobile suit of your choice. Very useful at eliminating very strong opposing mobile suits. Then you have Wing Gundam Bird Mode. Destroy this card to move Wing Gundam from the supply place to the MS dock. So if you don't have Wing Gundam in your hand, you can activate this card's effect to send it from your deck to your hand. Very useful way to get that out. Gundam Depth Scythe, with the ability, Gundam Depth Scythe may be placed on the MS dock before your attack phase. Very useful if you want to go for a fast attack. Gundam Heavy Arms, increase the clash points by 1 when this card attacks. Sandrock the opposite, increase clash points by 1 with defending. Shenlong Gundam, increase attack points by 2 when attacking alone. You have a 3/3 Magnetic. Only mobile suit type Sands can defend against Magnetic, so this card can actually keep attacking your opponent and he can't block unless you have a Sand type. And then you have another Magnetic, very similar, it's 2/2 instead of a 3/3. Very same effect. I honestly think that these two cards are really two of the best cards in the deck, just for the fact that you can keep attacking your opponent and you can't stop it unless you have a Sand type. You have Oliphant, which is just a 2/3, nothing special about it. It's just a cheap mobile suit with a high clash points for its cost. You have the White Taurus, a 3/4. It has ability. Taurus can't defend against mobile suit cards of a MS type, but in the game there's not a lot of types, there's Sand and Sea, but that's something to keep in mind. And then you have a busted up Leo with the ability Leo's destroy when it's defended or used to defend. In the revised rules, we iron out how this would work out. If an opponent is declaring an attacker and it's a very strong mobile suit with a high clash point, you can assign this Leo as a defender. But once its clash points are compared, the Leo automatically destroys itself and your opponent is not getting a war experience point. And then the last mobile suit is going to be Peace Million. Its ability to destroy Peace Million to avoid damage to another Wing Gundam mobile suit card. Peace Million was one of those cards that didn't make a whole lot of sense because in the rulebook, nothing uses the term damage. The closest thing is battle damage, but battle damage is only what your supply base sustains. I suspect maybe it's trying to say that if a mobile suit you own is going to be destroyed, you can destroy that to avoid the destruction of that mobile suit. That would make the most sense, but the way it's worded with the wrong turn damage makes it very confusing. Next to pilots in the theme deck is going to be Hero Yui. Increase clash points by 1, destroy this pilot, destroy an opposing pilot card of your choice. So just like Wing Gundam, you destroy that to destroy an opposing pilot. You have dual max roll, draw 1 card from supply base when an MS card in your pilot attaches not defended, meaning that every time this pilot is attached to a mobile suit and that mobile suit is a successful attack without being defended against or blocked or what be it, you get to draw a card. You have Troll of Burton with a very similar ability. Send a card of your choice from your opponent's hand to the dry dock when a mobile suit card with this pilot is not defended. Very similar to Duel, except your opponent loses a card rather than you drawing a card. Then we have Catra with the ability an MS card with this pilot attached can defend with an additional MS card. This is another card that slows the game down because the rulebook didn't cover what that's supposed to exactly mean. We iron out how that would work out in the revised rules, and as of now it seems to work. So as an example, let's say you have a Shenlong Gundam coming for an attack. You have a Magnetic in your dock, and you have an Oliphant in your dock, and Oliphant has Catra attached to it. You decide to assign Magnetic as a blocker against Shenlong. Shenlong gets 2 clash points additional for attacking alone, so it's a 5 against a 3. In the game, only one attacker can have 1 defender. But since Catra allows it to defend with additional mobile suits, Oliphant joins on the defense together, so both of these defend together for a total of 6. But they are independently 3 and 3. So Shenlong attacks with a 5 against Oliphant, which is up front because it has that ability to defend additionally. A 3 against a 5, it loses. Shenlong's remaining clash points is 2. Against a 3, the Shenlong loses. So your opponent gets 1 victory point, war experience I should say, for destroying Oliphant, but they lose a big heavy hitting mobile suit. That's how we've been playing it, and as of now that seems to work. Then we have Chang Wu Fei, which ability increase your clash points to 1 each time you discard from your supply base, a max in a 2. Once again, another card that slows things down because it's not 100% clear if you can trigger that ability or that's a coincidental ability, such as when you're doing something, paying to put a mobile suit card down, and you're playing from the supply base to the dry dock, this triggers and gets the ability boost. We suspect that's how it works, and that is what would make most sense. Then there's Relina Darlian. With the ability of placing this pilot on your MS dock, send 3 cards from your supply base to the dry dock to skip both players' next attack phase. So that's pretty big, but at the same time, I don't know if you really want to keep doing that, because if it skipped your opponent's attack phase, that's one thing, but to skip both players' attack phase, you want to be on the offense unless you have to put a full defense, but you have to keep paying for your supply base. If you can play from your dry dock, that's one thing, but that's a huge cost to skip your attack phase as well. Next is Sally Poe. With the ability, if the battle ends in a tie, both Mobile Suit cards are returned to each player's hand. Then there's Dr. J, really great card. Place this pilot on your MS dock to reduce a Wing Gundam Mobile Suit card price by 1. Then you have the Battlefield cards, which are great, but they're really brutal and painful. You have Liberation Army. You may draw as many cards into your hand as you discard to your dry dock. Very straightforward. You have Singapore Space Base. All their Mobile Suit cards now have a Mobile Suit type of your choice. That's useful against a handful of cards from Oz, because Oz cards has their equivalent of the Maganex, where they have a C type that can attack directly without being blocked unless you have a C type, so that's useful to give your Mobile Suit C type to block them. Then you have Saint Kingdom. This is another card that also slowed down the gameplay, because its ability, an opponent's Mobile Suit card of your choice receives 3 points of battle damage. That is the wrong term, because battle damage is a term used only for supply base taking hits. It's not something compared or used on the mobile suits. In the revise, we decided to make this a more offensive battlefield card, so we decided that it's going to say, once during the attack phase, you may target a mobile suit card of your choice and deal 3 clash point attacks to it. So smaller, weaker mobile suit cards can get taken out by this. Then there's L2 Colony. Destroy an opposing pilot card of your choice each time you discard from your hand. You can use an attack phase or strategic phase. Very useful. So if your opponent plays pilot cards, you can just discard your cards from your hand to destroy them. And then the event cards, you have Operation Meteor. Return 3 cards of your choice from the dry dock to the supply base and reshuffle. Very useful. Extremely useful to get Wing Gundam and Wing Gundam Bird mode back into your deck. Shocking Reply. Destroy 1 opposing pilot card of your choice. Straightforward. You have Rebel Factor. Return a Wing Gundam Mobile Suit card of your choice from the dry dock to the bottom of the supply base. Useful to get Wing Gundam back in your deck if you accidentally milled it. Support a Maganex Corp. Increase your clash points by 2. Really great card. Highly Trained Pilot. Attached to a Mobile Suit card to make it immune from event cards effects during this turn. And then last, a really great event card, Nation of Total Pacifism. Play before your opponent's attack phase. Opponent must skip attack phase. Very useful. The Wing Gundam Steam deck really functions best when all the mobile suits are working together. I guess that's why they're called the Wing Gundam team. And when it comes to strategy, there's not a whole lot going on in this. It's just using the mobile suits, using in conjunction together, and hoping that you can outplay your opponent. The big punch in this deck is Wing Gundam and its ability to sacrifice itself, destroy itself if you will, to destroy an opposing mobile suit. The big thing is that with Wing Gundam, if you play Wing Gundam from your hand and you play from your supply base, 1, 2, 3, and you end up losing Wing Gundam, that's pretty sad. That's really not good. That's where the cards like Rebel Factor come useful, because Rebel Factor allows you to return a Wing Gundam mobile suit of your choice to the dry dock to the bottom of your supply base. So you can return that back to the bottom, then use this card's ability to destroy it and bring Wing Gundam to the field. Alternatively, another option is Operation Meteor. That's really useful too. It's 3 cards that you return into your base and shuffle. So you return Wing Gundam and anything else in there into your deck and reshuffle it. Alternatively, if you destroyed Wing Gundam Bird mode to get Wing Gundam out, and then destroyed Wing Gundam to destroy an opposing opponent's mobile suit, Operation Meteor is useful to get these 2 back into your deck. But once they're back in there, there's no guarantee you'll draw one or the other. And if you draw Wing Gundam, there's no guarantee that if you pay for your supply base, you won't lose Wing Gundam again. That's as far as the creativity goes in this theme deck. There isn't a whole lot going on. It really does function on the mobile suits working together, more so than I would say the Oscorp deck has to. The Oscorp Steam deck is quite the opposite of the Wing Gundam Steam deck. There's a lot more stronger individual cards in this, and they can actually function more independently than the Wing Gundam team deck does. Again, I guess it's because it's a Wing team, so you gotta have them all work together. Starting first for mobile suits, you have Epion with an incredible cost of 6 and a clash points of 5. It's extremely powerful mobile suit. Only problem, its ability, opponent's supply base cannot sustain battle damage from Gundam Epion. That means it's a pure defense card, because you can't attack your opponent's supply base, and if you go and attack with this, your opponent's not going to block it. It doesn't make any sense why to block it. Then there's Talkies 1, 3 for 3, Preemptive Strike. Preemptive Strike is the game's way of handling ties, so if 2 mobile suits have the same clash points, whichever one has preemptive strike wins. If they both have preemptive strike, then they both lose. Its other ability reads, any attached pilots on this card are destroyed after battle. You have Tall Geese 2, which is a 4/4, an upgrade from Tall Geese 1, a preemptive strike. You have a basic Leo, a 2/3, reduces 1 clash points, 1 with defending, so it goes down to a 2. You have Ares, same ability except it has preemptive strike, so it can actually win ties, but reduce clash points 1 when defending. You have Pisces, one of the very few types from the Corp deck or the Corp side completely, with a C type. You have Cancer, only Mobile Suit type C can defend against Cancer, so very similar to the Magnet cards in the Wing Gundam Team theme deck. This has the same exact ability. Tragos can't defend, that's the only drawback. You have V8 and Mercurius. V8 and Mercurius, these two are definitely meant to be played together because of how their ability works. V8's ability increases clash points 1 when attacking alone, with Mercurius maximum 6 clash points, while Mercurius says increase clash points by 1 when defending alone or with V8. So if you're in the offense with V8 by itself, it gets 1. If you're in the defense with Mercurius by itself, it gets 1. And if you have them both attacking, V8 gets 1. If you have them both defending, Mercurius gets 1. I always thought it was odd that it said maximum 6 clash points. Does that mean this mobile suit can only have a max of 6 clash points? Or is it supposed to boost each other by 2 instead of 1? I never understood that because V8 says when attacking alone or with Mercurius. So it can't be boosting by 2. Same thing with Mercurius. I know it's a very silly thing to say, but I do remember that being something that comes up periodically with these two cards. Then you have Taurus, reduce clash points 1 if no pilot's attached. And ending the mobile suits, you have Virgo, no pilot may be attached to Virgo. Starting with pilots, you have Zex Marquise, also known as Zerk's Mancakes. Preemptive strike, increase clash points on 1, very straightforward, very good. And then you have one of the best pilots, Tres Crucianata, increase clash points by 2. It's really great because it's just 1 cost for 2 and there's no drawback. The only drawback is to fall in line. This pilot may be attached to Oz mobile suit cards. Next is Lady Un. This is another card that slowed the gameplay down. Its ability, void any Wing Gundam pilot's effect. It's not clear exactly when that's supposed to happen. We decided in the revised rules, it now reads as, when this pilot is played, target 1 Wing Gundam pilot, its ability is void until this card is removed. I think that makes a lot more sense with what they were trying to go with that. Then there's Lucretia 9, with the ability, void any pilot's effect when attacking or defending. Then you have Dorothy, and Dorothy has to have an honorable mention because most reviews I've seen would say that the rules definitely needed to be ironed out to support the cards better, and this card is almost always mentioned as an example. Dorothy's ability, all mobile suit cards on your mobile suit dock must attack. I read a few reviews that says that playing this card is suicide because if you do that, you have nothing to defend yourself with. I have an idea what they might have intended this card to say or to do, and in the revised rules, we changed it. So it now states, a mobile suit card with this pilot attached can still attack. So if there's something preventing you from attacking, Dorothy and the mobile suit that's attached to you can still attack. Keep in mind, you still have to enter an attack phase, but we think that makes more sense of what Dorothy was supposed to do. And the last pilot is Tubrov, decrease the clash points on 1, any battle damage affects your opponent's hand. I know sometimes that could be unclear, but I'm more than certain it's supposed to be you attach this to a mobile suit, and whenever that mobile suit that is attached to this battle damage, that affects your opponent's hand. And nothing crazy like if you take battle damage, your opponent's hand suffers. And then we have the event cards. Oz has a lot of amazing event cards. Starting with specials, this has to be one of the best event cards in the game. Move a mobile suit card of your choice from the dry dock to the mobile suit dock without paying a price. So if you end up losing something like Epion or Tall Geese 2 when you're paying from your supply base to your dry dock for a different card, you can actually use specials, and since it's an event card, you can do it when your opponent's attacking or during their turn, or when you're on the attack. You can do that. You can put either of those two into your dock and set yourself up for a defense or an additional attacker. Really great card, especially because it costs 3, so you can get a high cost mobile suit out very easily with this. Rockefeller Foundation, reduce all Oz cards priced by 1 during this turn. Very useful if you want to get a lot of mobile suits or if you're going to play a lot of cards at once. Assassination, destroy all pilots in play, even your own. Emergency Escape, return a pilot card in play to your hand. Very useful to save someone like Trace or Zex Marquise. Operation Daybreak, another extremely great card. Assume control of your opponent's mobile suit card during their turn. Return that to the original position after your turn if it's not destroyed. So if your opponent plays something like Wing Gundam and it's in their dock ready to blow up whatever mobile suit put down their following turn, you just Operation Daybreak, take that from them, use its effect to destroy something they have if they have more than 1 mobile suit, not just Wing Gundam. Then there's mobile dolls. All mobile suit cards are considered to have pilots for this turn. I'm not exactly sure what you would use that for. Maybe as a battlefield requirement, but battlefields, most of them say you have to have a pilot card. Not pilots as in whatever be it, but pilot cards. So I don't think this card can actually help you out with that. Then you have confinement. All mobile suit cards with attached pilots can attack. Funny I mentioned that now, because on the flip side, that actually works for mobile dolls, because mobile dolls would make it so all mobile suits are going to have pilots, and this will prevent cards that have pilots from attacking. And finally, Space Fortress Barge, another really great card from Oz. Decrease an opponent's mobile suit card clash points by 4. It's really good because, as you can see here and from the Wing Gundam deck, a lot of cards have 3 or 4 clash points, so this pretty much brings everything down to 0. Only very few have anything more as a base without the support of other cards, so that's really great. And then finally, ending with battlefield cards, you have New Edwards base, increase clash points by 1 when defending, very straightforward. The Lake Victoria base, return a mobile suit card of your choice from the dry dock to the bottom of your supply base at the beginning of each turn. Since you can't search your deck for specific cards, really the big use for this is just to make your deck bigger, or at least add more cards to your supply base, so hopefully you don't get decked out. Luxembourg base, reduce all Oz event card prices by 1. And then Space Fortress Libra, really great battlefield card. Decrease all opponents attacking mobile suit cards clash points by 3. If Space Fortress Libra is out, your opponent's gonna have a really hard time. Unlike the Wing Gundam Steam deck, the Oz deck has a lot more stronger individual cards. There are some weaker cards, but across the line you have more 4s than you have 3s. And when you mix the support cards Oz has, they really outpower the Wing Gundam deck. But just like the Wing Gundam deck, there's nothing really special or wowing about the Oz Corp deck. You can do some crazy combination with specials and Operation Daybreak, but aside from that, there's again nothing special going on. It's a very straightforward deck. And that's a big similarity both the Steam decks share. There isn't anything special or unique about the decks that really makes the gameplay stand out. And to be fair, as an introductory deck to the game, you can't make it too complicated. But at the same time, without a little complexity to make the gameplay exciting, and they are a very slow introductory into the game, it's gonna result in a very boring gameplay experience and gonna result in players not being interested in the game. I wish I can say there's a lot more going on, more combos, more things that you didn't think were possible in the game, but the base Wing Gundam deck and the base Oz Corp deck, those two Steam decks, there's just not a lot going on for them.